because rain makes me really reminiscent. So I woke up, well, obviously Russian, but then like in like a sadder mood too.
Yeah.
Because I get like really, like heavily reminiscent
In rain.
Yeah.
Is Ohio like a rainy place?
No, it's just sometimes the rain out here reminds me of like earlier years that I spent here.
I love the rain. By the way. Yeah, it's beautiful. But when did you first move out here?
In 2018.
Okay, so you're pretty pre-pandemic. So you were like established in here before quarantine hit?
In the city, yeah, but not in comedy.
Oh, when did you start comedy?
I started comedy 3 and some change years ago, but I didn't enter the scene until like 1.5 years ago. I was doing like self-produced shit because I came out here for school. So I was doing comedy with a bunch of other students and shit like that.
Okay. And so you started like doing comedy seriously like 1.5 years ago.
Yeah, like where I was hitting mics and writing every day and all that started a year and a half ago.
What inspired that decision?
Me being tired of not making actual progress in comedy. Because I was like, I'm doing all these produced shows. Why isn't Laugh Factory hitting me up?
Right.
Because I didn't know how the shit worked.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember. Do you remember the first time we met? Do you have any recollection of that?
Well, the first memory I have of you was at Comedy Bar.
Okay. Same.
Yes.
Same.
And your set, and then I remember I just walked up and I was, can I cuss?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm a different nigga than that one.
Yeah.
That's the first memory that I have of you.
That was my first memory of you
Okay,
as well.
okay.
I'm a hater. I realized. I remember. Like in retrospect, I should have not been so aggressive. What was Ohio like for you racially?
All right, so
Let's get into it, baby.
I got you because I'm fairly light.
Yeah. But that hair.
Yes, but I've gotten lighter out here.
That makes sense.
And
Okay.
so, like in Ohio, if you're black in Ohio, if you're my color in Ohio, you're still a nigga.
Yeah.
And so, I was black, but I didn't get the whole like light skin, dark skin shit till I came out here. Like only like my grandparents would say shit like that.
Are there a lot of black people in Ohio?
Where I was from, it was decent. Our school was probably like 40, 60.
Jesus, I'm jealous. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were just black as far as okay.
And had my black crew. I've had a lot of black friends, but then also like a lot of white friends. Hood niggas have never liked me ever. Ever.
Yeah.
And so even now I hate doing like hood rooms. But like I'll do like a black room. And I hate how niggas act like there's no difference. There's a difference. There's a difference.
A hood room and a black room are very different things.
Yes, they have never liked me.
Yeah. What do you think? Have you ever been able to turn them around? Because I have trouble with that.
Hood people?
Yeah.
Some of my worst bombs of my career are with hood because they just don't sympathize with me at all.
Yeah, it feels like they're not jealous is not the right word.
Nah.
Like I think that like hood dudes think that anyone outside of the hood doesn't have struggle.
Yeah.
I think that's their interpretation is like if you didn't grow up on the block, if you ain't get shot at, if you ain't dealt drugs, if your pappy ain't in prison, you ain't really about it.
You ain't one of us. You don't know what's up.
It's like there are so many other struggles in the black experience that is outside of that they don't recognize.
Yeah.
But that day at the Comedy Bar, I remember it was pretty early on. Do you know what month that was?
Not at all.
Okay. It was pretty early on in me moving here, and I was still like sketched out with white people.
Yeah.
Like I had moved here, and there were so many more black people than I had experienced before, and I had gotten real comfortable in the city. Yeah. And then when I was at the Comedy Bar and I got on stage, it clicked to me like, oh, these are Midwesterners. Yeah. You felt that, right?
Yeah, that Comedy Bar is a different type of crowd.
Right. Yeah. And I got angry. And when that happens, that's an issue I have where if I'm on stage and if I don't like the crowd, I'm like, well, you're not going to have fun then.
That's wild.
Really?
I would tap dance my hardest if I don't like the crowd.
Why? What is your logic? Because it's not a bad idea either. Right. What is your logic when that happens? All right,
because we all do comedy for a bunch of reasons. Yeah. But I think that this is my philosophy. In order to be a good comedian, there's 3 things. You have to be universally funny. So like appeal to as many different groups of people as you can. you have to not be able to pick a side in anything other than the funny side. So, like, if it comes to politics, you can't be like, oh, I am a diehard liberal, because then you miss all the bullshit that happens on the liberal side. Same with conservatives. You miss all the bullshit that happens on their side. You have to just be able to be like, I am a comedian that views politics through a comic lens. And then the third is you have to be irreversibly broken. And so my irreversible brokenness comes from, like, my family and, like, having to compete with, like, my genius sister and my relatives fucking hating me and acting like they didn't, and just being just horrible, to kicking me out the house and telling me about all the holidays that I ruined. And then when I finally quit talking to them, you don't call me anymore, so why would we call you? And just just all this shit.
I have so many. You saw me writing furiously.
Yeah.
Oh, let's get into some of this, because there's stuff I disagreed with and there's stuff I agreed with.
For sure.
The irreversibly broken.
Uh-huh.
I used to feel that way. And I'm starting to get to a place, at least for me,
right,
where I don't. First off, I don't want to be broken anymore.
Facts.
And I feel like as I've gotten better as a person, my comedy has gotten better. Like the broken part of me is lashing out on stage. Like me, when the way I reacted at the comedy bar that night was my brokenness, putting that on the audience, not knowing them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
That being said, that brokenness also, it gives you life experience and so on and so forth. And then the other thing I think I disagreed with was, I don't know if it's a comedic lens for me as much as it is an individual lens.
Fair, yeah. So it's not heavy on the comedic part, but it's just like your perspective has to be, people are listening to you because you're supposed to have a unique perspective.
Right, that's, yeah.
And if we're comedians, then I just say comedic lens.
Okay,
yeah.
I feel you. And then your family, what happened?
Oh, everything.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. So you, mom and dad?
Never married.
Never married, but you knew them?
Yes.
Okay, and they were in the same house?
Never.
Okay. And this is putting pieces together.
Yeah. Got a stepdad very early on.
Okay.
A lot of, I remember, was like, sometimes it'll just pop up, like, court battles that I would be at, like, for me.
Like when you were a little kid?
Yes. And so, like, I remember, like, my mom would be like, and you have to say this, and you have to say this, and you have to say this. And I would just be like, okay. And then it's so strange because, like, my dad's side, my mom's side is huge. She's a child of 9, and I have a fucking genius sister, and she's a woman. And so my mom has a bunch of, like, sisters, and then here comes my mother's daughter, and then here comes the little fucking nigga that looks like Keith that no one fucking likes. And my sister gets my sister's father is my mom and my sister's father got a divorce.
Okay.
My parents were never married.
Okay.
But everyone loves my sister's father. And so it was just always the thing of Jasmine is the fucking golden child, and anything that Kieron does is horrible. And I'm like, and I was never dumb. I'm pretty fucking smart.
Yeah.
Not with math and science, but other than that, like social science
English
and shit.
Yeah.
I'm heat at it, right? And so I just go like, and I've always been, but they've just always wanted me, like, I just can't remember. So many times they would just tell me to shut up, always. Like, I remember for my sister's birthday at my house, whole family's there, and I'm like, yo, I want to do, like, a birthday song for you. I was always performing, always. And so my sister's like, okay, go ahead. So me and my cousins start, and then my aunts literally look at me, and they go like, and they, like shh is ingrained in my brain for, like, whenever I feel like someone thinks I'm being annoying, because it's, like, such a sharp, like, because that's all they would do. They would be like, this is not about you. Like, this is about you. And, like, Jasmine said I could do it. And even when there's only like one relative. Okay, let me not say this. There's like 3 relatives I care about. Like 2. And one of them died, right? And it was my great aunt from Alabama, my southern roots, my tie. And her name was Mamie. And she died.
Her legal name on her birth certificate. Please tell me that Mamie.
If I'm not mistaken, it was Mamie.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was fucking awesome, and she would, like, let me. She never told me whether I was right or wrong. Like, I would call her a lot and tell her what was bothering me. She never, because I don't want it to get, like, misconstrued with people. She never was like, oh, Kieron, like, that's right, or oh, Kieron, that's wrong. She would just hear me, and that I never, ever got. And so when she died, I wrote a song for her, and, like, because I used to do a lot of music, sad music, and I wanted to play it in front of the whatever. So I asked her daughters, and I knew her daughters were going to let me because me and Mamie would talk to each other, like, twice every, like that was my girl. And so then I remember I go up.
Is Mamie on your mom's side or dad's side?
Mom's side.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, but she's like distant. Like I remember one time I called her and told her about the day that I got kicked out on Thanksgiving, and no one called me.
How old were you?
Probably 15. It was right around the heavy drugs and shit. So probably like 15.
Okay.
And this came. There's so much to tell you, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
First off, stop me at any point because I will take it way over the line.
No, you won't.
Okay.
I am open, dude. Whatever the fuck you want. I am open.
Oh, this is gonna be a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is my like. Before you keep going, my podcast. My goal is not to see how funny or hilarious the comic is, but to get to know the comic. I want to see if I can make like a directory of all the Chicago comics where if you're like, I want to get to know fucking such and such, you look at my podcast and you're like, oh, that's the history of that person. Please, by all means. So Mammy. Yeah. Okay.
Don't smile when you say it.
I cannot. I pictured just one tooth.
No. She was a beautiful woman.
Okay. All right.
Red hair. She was awesome.
Okay. So Mammy, you were close to Mammy, and then there's two other people?
Yeah, but I just say that in case anybody ever hears this and gets upset. Mammy was the main one.
Fair enough. Is Jasmine going to listen?
I don't know.
Okay.
You surprised me that you knew her name. I was like, how you know that? And I was like, oh, I said it.
Literally
Yeah. And so it made me. I remember at her funeral, I wanted to get up and do this song, and my uncle. Oh, and also this uncle lives in California, right? He used to, and I shit you not. I told you, big family. Only one sister though, but so many cousins. He let one of my cousins, the one that was closest in age to me, the other boy, Zamarius, he let Zamarius live with him for a year and a half in California, right? Ari, Lexi, Ray Janine, they all went to go visit my uncle in California. My sister went to go visit my uncle in California. My mom went to go visit my uncle in California. You know the only nigga that never went to fucking California? The only one who never got fucking invited to California? Me. Everyone. How do you invite everyone in my household and not me to California? But then I got to feel bad for not coming around because y'all are family. What have y'all done for me? And it's not like it's a tally. It's not like it's like, okay, my uncle said happy birthday, so now I'm going to, like, it's not that. But it's just like, y'all have never, like ever made me feel good. Ever. And so then I finally get older and decide, okay, instead of just constantly going over here and arguing and fighting, I'm just going to remove myself and be fine. Because I'm not one of the people that goes like, oh, I don't care, and then I obsess over this. Once I reach the point of I don't care, I don't give a fuck. And so it's like I don't care about my family. And my dad's side, it's my dad, his sister, my grandmother. Crazy supportive. And it pains my dad how much time he's missed with me, and I get that. But now when he like tries to come in to my life, he tries to father me the way that he wished he could have when I was 8.
But you're old now.
Yeah, and I'm like, Keith, I have.
He said, Keith.
Okay, it's like the shit that I have, like, and I know that you don't know, so like you can't just assume, but I have been, you know that fucking scene in Fresh Prince where it's like, I learned he didn't teach me how to play basketball, but I still learned how to hoop, didn't I? So it's like it's no resentment towards him, but it's just like I learned all these things. Like, come at me as more or less your equal now, because the experience that I've built up over the years, like the 4 years that my sister spent in college and all the memories she built up, nigga, I did that last year. Like, I've always been like, throw yourself in. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt so much. So many bitches have cheated on me with my best friends and fucking created like stories about me and how horrible I am. It's.
Let me get my notes out, nigga. Have you had therapy?
I've had 4 therapists. The first one was because I went to the doctor's office and I had to do that little questionnaire, and it was like, have you ever thought about killing yourself? And I've always been like an introspective kind of dude. Like I've never been my age. Old people have always told me that. If you put me in a room, I'm a chameleon. I can goof around with a little 5-year-old, but I can really chop it up with old. Like I remember when I was like 7 years old, I met these people from it was some like amusement park in Ohio. I remember that I met a bunch of people there, and I became pen pals with them. And they were in their 80s. And they just loved my perspective on the world, and they would just write to me, and I would just write back. And I wouldn't be writing back like an 8-year-old. I would be writing back like a person. And so when I went to the doctor, it was like, have you ever thought about killing yourself? And I was like, yeah. Because who – and, of course, I'm like 10, but, like, who hasn't thought about killing themselves. And it was like, have you ever tried it? And I was like, no, I haven't tried it, but like, and so then the doctor comes in and they're like, why'd you say that you thought about suicide? I'm like, because I have. And they're like, well, what do you think about? I'm like, well, I don't think about like actually the act of killing myself, but that's a little sad. But I go like, this is a little sad. Okay, so I just go like, because I want to know for real who actually cares about me. And I would only know based off whether they would miss me or not. And so the only way to actually miss somebody is if they're dead.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, it is sad.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I don't think it's, no, it's very, very sad.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. Have you ever had that moment where your mom or whoever was yelling at you, getting on you, and it was unfair, and you wanted to kill yourself, not because you wanted to die, but out of revenge to the, like you go to your room and you're like, oh, if I just hung myself right now, that bitch, she will regret.
Yep. I've tried to write so many jokes about that.
Yeah.
I'll be arguing with someone and I want to kill myself just to ruin their day.
Yes.
100%.
I know that.
I've been trying so hard to make that funny for a while.
Right. That's a difficult thing to make,
Yeah.
to get people to latch onto. But so if I understand correctly, the issue on your mom's side is they don't like your dad, and you're a representation of Keith
and my mother. So I'm a good mix. My anger is my dad.
Okay.
But like my wit and my sharp tongue and all that shit, that is fully Yonda. And so my mom is a very she is very
cunning.
People are malleable around my mother. That's the nicest way I can put it.
People, meaning they're gullible around her, easily manipulated?
So I don't want to say manipulative because
Okay.
I don't think that manipulative always has a negative connotation.
Okay.
But
she's I'm going to find a word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like she's a persuasive, like she's good. And I got that from her. But the thing is like every life skill, because I think I'm a phenomenal arguer. And I only learned it from arguing with the best of the fucking best.
Right.
And so they don't like how my mom would say something, and then me being like, the outside perspective where I can't be on. I'm just like, oh, but there's bullshit in this area, in this area, in this area. And then she answers, and then when the bottom line is, well, I'm your mother, then I just go like, oh, you lost. Right. You lost. If you have to resort to that, you lost. Like, I have a point, I win, you lost. And so my family would just be like, da-da-da-da-da. And I go like, oh, man. And I remember I would go like, she has to call in backup just to beat me. I would go like, I'm 14. What are you adults doing? I'm 14 years old. Yeah, I know. But, yeah.
So, okay, so your mom is the black sheep within her side of things, and then you end up being blacker of the sheep. That's how I'm picturing this right now?
Growing up, and it took me a long time to realize that, like, my mother is not just, because me and my mother are working on our relationship hard. We had the biggest crash, and mind you, I got kicked out the fucking house when I was 15 or 16.
15 on Thanksgiving.
And then that same Christmas, I got told that I ruined Christmas. She threw all my presents in a bag, went upstairs, called the whole family, told them everything that I did wrong, and then still brought me with them. The 4th of July before that, we got into the biggest argument ever. She kicked me out, and I punched her car. And then they sped off somewhere, and then I just spent the time by myself. So, like, it's a lot. But we're working now. We had the biggest crash of our relationship ever during COVID.
Were you living with her?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Biggest crash ever. It was horrible.
Okay.
And so we're working now. So I don't want to act as if we're not working. She's putting in a lot of work to do the things that I now need from her. And I am equally trying to be more
understanding.
Yes. And respectful and yada, yada, yada. Because the thing is like, she's a child of 9. She's kind of right in the middle. So I know that she never felt hurt. And so I know that the times where she's yelling at me, it's just her parents yelling at her. And I know that she doesn't necessarily, because I've explained this, because my major in college was interpersonal communication. Because when I was 15, and the woman who let me sleep with her for Thanksgiving, when I got kicked out, the woman who let me into her home when I got kicked out on Thanksgiving, and the woman who let me have a second Christmas with her because she knew that I didn't have a Christmas at home, and so her mom would like make me big meals and buy me presents and just let me be there, that woman cheated on me with my best friend.
All right, hold on. Let me just... Okay, a woman, because you're that to me that okay, all right. Let me just regroup.
Yeah.
You get kicked out around 15, 16.
Yeah.
You stay with a woman.
My girlfriend at the time.
Your girlfriend at the time. Of legal age? Okay, because when you say a woman, I'm like, oh, did you?
My bad. I'll be saying women, girl, bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Around your age?
Yeah.
Okay. stay with her and her family, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And her family's supportive.
Yeah.
And then she cheats on you with your best friend at the time.
Yeah, she does.
And I'm assuming he's no longer your best friend.
Not at all.
Okay. And I assume he probably won't listen to this.
I mean, maybe he sometimes will like my Instagram posts and shit.
Weird.
And but my thing is like I don't like hostility. Yeah. Like the only thing that I wish is that for everyone that ever did anything to me, like I'm not like a punch you type of person. I was just talking with my friends about that. Like I have never felt the urge. Maybe like twice in my life have I ever felt the urge to punch a person, like to really just punch. My shit is just like, oh, I want to do so well that it like cripples you when you think about how you treated me, because you now know that you no longer have access to me.
Revenge through success. That's
always been my thing. Like I've never been like, let me immediately get back to you. Like I've never like returned a cheating. I've never went after someone's best friend after they went after mine. I've never done that. It's always just, Kieron, be the best and shut the fuck up when it comes to like when the politics comes around. Because there's no way to say this without sounding like a dickhead. So I'm gonna just sound like a dickhead. After I got cheated on in high school is when this guy, and this was in 2016, so Instagram is huge, right? And it's all those types of videos. White people be like videos. This girl was like, oh, my brother's been watching your videos. He wants to work with you. He had 300,000 followers on Instagram. I was like, oh, this is like the big leagues. We do a couple of videos. The first one that I post in 2016 goes mega viral. It gets 750,000 views, 750,000. And then from there, my Instagram blows up. And I'm from Ohio. So like, and at the risk of sounding like a dickhead, like I know I am, I was like, if you like model scale it to what it actually is, in high school, I was famous.
Right.
Like I would, at football, I got videos of like me at football games with like a crowd of people around me and like taking pictures with me and like quoting my videos, and people would like have me as their lock screen on their phone, and I would go to the gas station and they would like random people, like grown people at the gas station would just like give me free shit. And so when all these scandals would pop off, so when this girl cheated on me, I'm not even kidding, the whole school was on fire. They were on fire. Like people were running up to me in the hallway, phones out, like literal paparazzi, flash on, nigga. And they go like, let me not say her name because I've been getting in trouble with that later.
Brittany?
Yeah. They go like, Brittany said you can't eat pussy. Is that true? Cameras on in my face. And I would just go like, yeah, sure. And I would just keep walking, right? Fast forward. Brittany gets with a new man. Brittany's doesn't even get with my best friend. I don't know what the fuck they felt like. Just.
Are all these people in your high school? You're all in the same school?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my fucking God. Okay.
Oh, yeah. All the people that are really entrenched.
How old are you?
At this time?
No, right now.
I'm 22.
Okay.
I know.
Okay. I'm listening.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like that my age is mysterious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people don't automatically, because I've had fucking life experience.
Yeah.
The shit that I see people doing now, I'm like, bro, I played that game when I was 17.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've been addicted to nicotine since I was 12 years old. Like, I'm a grown ass boy. I started off with Black and Miles. That's a grown man cigarette. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. I'm piecing you together. It's interesting when you go to open mics and you see comics, you don't get a chance to like.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck would you bring this up to me at Lincoln Lodge? Okay. I'm piecing you as a person together. Is that why your reaction to my texts were the way they have been?
Probably.
Okay.
I won't deny that.
For context, can you give context? Because I don't.
Yeah.
For whoever listens.
Aaron is a very direct texter, and that is it. It's not even like, I won't even go like, oh, he's dry. He's just a very direct texter. And my thing is that I desperately need people to like me. And so when I get a text that is direct and there's no fluff in the text, even though I like directness, I just go like, nigga, could you put an explanation point? Could you put...
It was just facts of information. Right.
Yeah. And so that freaks me out. I do the same thing with Jeff Brumfield. I tell him that. I go like, Jeff, do you hate me over text? Like, it's just... I did the same thing with, like, it's, yeah.
Okay. Because I normally use my voice, but people say it's annoying or weird and they don't want to listen to it. So I'll keep that in mind with you.
But you're fine. You're good. After we had the talk and laughed about it, I know you don't hate me.
You don't. It's so funny because you don't, the way you come off is, first off, not 22. Definitely a lot of life lived.
Thank you.
I don't know if it was a compliment.
No, I appreciate it. I do. I really appreciate. I would rather be experienced 22 than a wide-eyed, bushy-tailed 22.
That's fair. That's so interesting. I want to. I want to sit down and watch your comedy now with this new perspective, new lens of you. But why? I mean, I feel like I know the answer, but I'll ask regardless.
Okay.
Why comedy?
Why comedy? Okay. So the cliche story that I tell, like what I wrote on my college entry thing, is when I was 6 years old, I went into a bank with my mother, and I was doing a Louis Armstrong impression, just singing the "What a Wonderful World" song, and there were these fine ass bank tellers behind the thing, right? And I was making them all laugh, and they were like, "Oh, he's so cute. Here, take this sticker, take this pen, all this shit that they had at the bank, right?" And there was something about strangers getting joy out of like my presence. Of course I was doing something, but like my presence for my 6-year-old brain was like, that makes them happy. And as I got older, of course it was like a coping thing, because like, oh, my mom is mad at me and I need to get it out. But and this is I've never. Okay. And so then the thing is, like, I have so much. You saw the way I came. I've just been going. I've just been there's so much in me that I need to get out. Like, my partners have to be great listeners, and I tell them that right away. It's no surprise.
Do you have a relationship right now?
I got my fucking heart broke. I am in shambles.
Right now?
Yes.
We'll talk about that too.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
I am in shambles.
Okay.
And I would love to pretend like I'm not, but I'm an honest person. I'm in shambles. She knows. She knows that she was. Anyways.
Okay.
So it became like a coping mechanism where it's like, I have so much that I need to tell. I have so much hurt in me that I need to tell. But no one will give a fuck unless it's funny. And so I just found a way. And that's how I feel now, because everyone goes like, everyone's voice is so important. And I'm like, no one gives a fuck about anything that anyone has to say.
Unless it's entertaining.
Period. No one gives a fuck about your shitty picture unless it's a great angle. No one gives a fuck about your opinions unless you're really moving like Obama or you're really funny like Trump. No one cares. And so, like, I had that realization early on. And so it was just like, okay, Kieron, if you want to be heard, learn how to grab attention. And the only way you can really do that is through jokes. And so I've been like telling stories of like my pain forever. Like I went to this summer camp, and I remember the first time where I was like, oh, this is like really like decent. I was probably like, I don't know, sometime in elementary school, and there was this one girl I wanted to impress, and I don't even remember her name or let's fucking like Sam or something. And so we're outside, and they had like, you know, like when you do like a play outside, all those wooden logs and then the box. So it's huge, and like I'm just standing on the box talking to her and her friend. But like I'm already a certain. I've always been I've always been good with how you communicate. And so I'm like, okay, if I put myself in the box and they have to listen to me, the power dynamic, open my body, all that shit. And then over time, like 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by. I shit you not, I was probably up there talking for like just sharing stories about my mom wanting me to get her the remote, and I'm like, Mom, it's right next to you, and just making that like a really big ordeal. By like an hour, like there were camp counselors like sitting there and listening to me talk, and they were like, and there was like the girl, but then like all of her friends, and then this other girl that I kind of thought was cute, and it's just me like on this box, just like yada yada, like, you know what I mean? And I was like, this is fucking like there's something to do, like this is something that can be
productive.
Yeah, and it was still a way for me to express my frustration, because the thing was about how my mom makes me do so many things, because the overarching story, because I told a lot, but it was just my mom wanting me to get her the remote. And you know how black moms are. They'll call you from anywhere to get something right next to them. Mm-hmm. And so, and there were a lot of white people at this camp. So they just thought it was, this colored boy is hilarious. But like it was just a moment where I really just looked out and was like, yo, you're performing right now. And then I got in trouble a lot at school, I was smart. And this is what fucked them up. So they would be like, Kieron, yada, and you know, you've seen the memes, and then you say the answer, and you know the movie, but it's like you're asleep. I was never asleep. I was fucking around. Kieron, what's the answer? Huckabee Wells, and you know what I mean? And so then, so like they can never really like nab me. They could just be like, shut the fuck up. And I'm just like, oh, well, you got to try harder than that. My family's been telling me that since I was 2, nigga. That don't mean nothing to me. And so I had a teacher trying to put me on a bunch of medication, which I probably needed, but I don't like medication. So she tried to put me on a bunch of medication. And then my mom, and this bugs me about my mom, she still tries to act like she wasn't for it. My mom was definitely for it, and that makes me upset, because it's like, I had a light. Why do you want to dim the light just because it's not cohesive with school? You already have a genius daughter. Can you not have another son? Like, can you not have another child that doesn't fall into that rank? And so my father was the one who defended me. It was like, you're not putting my child on medication. Are his grades good? Yeah. So they're like, okay, then shut the fuck. Because they were trying to put me on like IEP learning and all this shit. And my dad's like, he's smart. What's the issue? He talks a lot. Okay, so give him an opportunity to fucking talk. And so I remember I had a teacher, Miss Smith. Shout out Miss Smith. She was mean to me in the beginning, but then we came to a compromise. She was like, Kieron, will you shut the fuck up for the first 40 minutes of class if I let you do a song or tell jokes or, you know, share a story for the last 5 minutes? And I said, bitch, you got a motherfucking deal. And so even in like 4th grade, I would like, it was just, and sometimes it's like these memories will just come back to me. I'll just be like, this shit been it? I'm sorry, this is such a long answer, but it makes me feel good to know that I'm doing the thing that feels the best.
I can see it. When you were talking about, it's man, wow. Yeah, when you were talking about the trauma, I can see it. And when you're talking about the thing that you enjoy, I can see it. You're far more open than I would have anticipated.
Yeah.
When we've talked out and about in comedy, the context of being around a bunch of comics, you can't do all of this. It gets weird. Yeah. But you are, I can't wait to watch your comedy with this context now.
That's cool.
Where, by the way, you're not talking too much. This is perfect.
Okay. Thank you for telling me that, because I felt like I was.
I had a feeling I need to make sure I communicate things as clearly as possible. In the way I'm feeling personally right now that I'm getting back into stand-up consistently again, is I feel like I'm starting from the bottom again.
No, you're funny, dude. People know you're funny.
Thank you. I also have insecurities. I haven't gone on a rant. You haven't heard it, but thank you. By starting at the bottom, I don't mean the skill of comedy. I mean socially. Like nobody's ever thinking, who can we put on a show? Let's hit up Aaron.
Feel that.
So that's where I feel like I'm at. You've been staying consistent and I've seen it. Where would you rank yourself in this comedy scene?
As low as I possibly could.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't think you're in the mud with me right now. I think you do get booked, right? You get.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just like I'm
gonna reword this. What are your goals in comedy? Where do you want to get to?
Okay. So my most current goal is hitting the road more.
Do you have 2 pens?
I got 3, dude.
What the fuck? Hold on. Is that all nicotine?
Yeah. They're all like running, and I've only been this bad since my fucking heart got broken.
Okay, we'll get into that too.
But they're all running out, and so I'm just keeping them on rotation because they're running out.
God damn, man. Okay.
It's bad out here, dude. But I didn't start. But like I didn't start this shit 3 years ago when Jewel was popping. 12 years old, Black and Miles, and I was like, oh shit, what is this? I've been in the game.
I believe you.
You know, so I'm not a posing 13-year-old who thinks vaping is cool.
Mm-hmm. You got a 37-year-old mustache. I see it. What's the goal?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, what's the goal?
So my next steps are just hitting the road more. I want to hit the road more. And this is because this is something that I observed. And I was just talking about a friend with this. The city gives me a lot of love. Like, the city will give me love. We like Kieron. But I don't know if I get a lot of respect. Because I think that they still view me as like this brand new dude. Even though that I've proven I have time. I have solid jokes. You can't coach my stage presence. That's the only place I am fucking comfortable. Like, it's just like, I feel like once I get the love plus the respect, then I'm great. I'll hate something then when that time comes. But like, I feel like the only way that you get respect is when people outside of your city want to start working with you too. And then your city sees that and they treat you more important. And I got a bunch of examples I can list off and name where there are people, some who deserve it and some who don't, but they just get out on the road and they hit shit and they feature and they host and they come back to the city and they treat them like the golden child.
Let's use the people that deserve it, because I don't want this to become the shade room.
Oh, not at all. Never.
In fact, let me write this. I'm gonna say this off air.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this one off air. But hold on a second. Okay. I'm gonna say this off air, but read the.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. I really want to talk to you about this afterwards.
Okay.
But when it comes to hitting the road, whenever you start doing that, if you ever want to start planning that, please talk to me, because I want to do that as well.
Okay.
I have a similar philosophy, and my goals in stand-up aren't to be famous.
Yeah.
Is just to live off of this comfortably.
Right.
If I was living here off of stand-up,
I feel you.
Oh my God,
Paradise.
Yeah. And I have the similar philosophy about hitting the road. One, it's easier. Weirdly, I went to Indiana, and you've been to Indiana, then? Yeah. It's like
you crush on the road.
It's crazy. It's like, wow, they're not used to. The city has just a lineup of murderers. You go out to fucking the middle of nowhere.
They love anything.
Anything.
And that's the beautiful thing about busting your chops here.
Yeah.
Because then once you hit the road, because I've done suburb shows. I've done shows in Ohio. I've done shows in Indiana, shows in Iowa. So I've got around a little bit. I've featured a bit. I've hosted a bit. And like, I feel so grateful because I'm like, oh, in Ohio, these are your best of the best. Like these are you're born and raised like in the scene. And they're great. There are great comics everywhere, but it's like the volume of great comics here because like you said, you've been gone for like a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're like, oh shit, like I've been washed over. And it's like that's the thing. Like if you're not out busting your ass and writing new jokes day after day,
people gotta see you.
You see what I mean? And so that in turn that makes you want to get better. It's not the whole like comparing thing, but I hate when people go like never compare. Well, in this fucking job you have to.
Yeah.
And so like it's the comparative thing of like, well, I want to get booked as much as this person. So let me kind of follow this similar trail, even though we're vastly different. And then when you go out there, you're a murderer. And then, yeah, it's a funnel that feeds itself.
We're 100% on the same page with that. And yes, please let me know when you hit the road and all of that. I want to. Okay. You've opened up, so I'll open up a bit. Well, this is a balance, you know. This is. Before we get to your heartbroken experiences.
Oh yeah.
For myself a little bit, I started this podcast because I was lonely. When I first moved out here, I had never felt your family kicking you out is toxic and horrible, especially at 15, 16. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. In Ohio, y'all get snow there.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's child abuse, in my opinion.
It's wild.
My family did the reverse of that, but just as abusive. So, like, you are going to stay here.
Right.
You're not going to go anywhere.
Right.
You're not going to do anything. And so this whole move, this experience, and me building my own independence in the way I'm doing was really important for me. But I had never felt the loneliness like that. And especially when that first winter hit.
Yeah.
Winter is a cold, but not literal. Like, yeah.
Oh,
and so one of the things I wanted to do was find more black friends that were thought alike. Like the perception of where I'm from is if you're black, you in the hood.
Yeah.
You nigga.
Right.
But it's like I'm not that dude.
Yeah.
And you were one of the people that I saw just around where I was like, I want to be friends with this guy, but I don't know how to approach that at the open mics and the comedy scene and everything. So Kieron, how the fuck? I want to say Kieron.
Kyron.
God damn it.
Just say Kai. It's fine.
Kai, can we be friends?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I already thought we were.
Oh, okay.
We kicked at that fucking Christian's party for hours. Dude.
I know. I have a memory thing too.
Yeah.
I know. Like I'm coming to realize I have a serious memory issue.
Oh, like I thought you meant like you remember well. Okay.
No, the opposite.
Okay.
I won't. Part of it I think is from trauma, and part of it is from head injuries, which I could tell you about if you want. But I have a shit memory. Yeah. And I think it comes off as rude to people when I don't remember their face. I don't remember their name. I don't remember, like, people think like I'm not paying attention. I'm locked in.
Right.
But it just floats away. It's crazy.
Right.
But okay, to get into my insecurities and then we'll get back to your trauma. Sure. This is a beautiful episode.
It is.
I don't, when you said people don't view me in the scene as like, oh, he's funny. I don't feel that way. And I think it's because I don't get booked.
Do you reach out? Do you email?
I'm pre that hiatus, no, because I don't know what's appropriate, what isn't. I don't know the best way to approach things without looking desperate. I don't know if I'm bothering people.
Fuck all that.
Okay.
Because like for the first like 7-8 months where I was joining the scene, I already had 15 minutes because I was coming off the 2 years that I was doing it prior. And so I was sending any clip that I had, and anything that I got booked on, I begged to be on. And then my thing was just, when you get the shot, don't blow it. So don't do the same shit in the clip. Have new jokes that are funnier. And so like that whole thing, I can't tell you what to do, but I feel like you should get rid of that, because it beg and then make people wish they would have saw you sooner. It's that type of thing.
Okay, then I'm gonna message you when I start messaging people, because it's an anxiety thing as well. I'm gonna message you and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna do it with my voice and everything. Right. This is my soft voice. I'm not mad at you, babe.
For sure.
But I got a heartbreak.
Yeah.
Okay, how recent?
I'm so annoyed because this shit is still affecting me. Okay. And that's what I don't like. I don't like that it's so. Have you heard my
memory thing? I probably won't know.
Okay. I got a joke, and it's like one of the only jokes that I've written about this thing, and it's this defamation joke.
Okay.
So this girl, we were together for 3 years. We didn't have an official title because I have, I guess, commitment issues.
Nice.
But and so she tries to act like that conflated our relationship, but it didn't. She knew what it was. For the first year we were together, I slept at hers every night. Every night. For the second year we were together, she slept at mine every night. When she was dealing with deaths and sicknesses, I was there. She would cook me meals. I would talk to her mother.
This is all during quarantine?
This started in 20. This happened at the ending of 2018.
Oh. So you started getting together at the end of 2018?
Yes.
Okay.
And the thing is that like and I'll explain this quickly because this is just a component of me. But I don't want to say that I always have to be, but I have always been in relationships. And so like I've only ever hooked up with like a couple people. And then even then they start to like me because like I'm not like a dickhead. I'm not like, oh fuck, you never talk to you. I'm like, no, we fucked. I may not want you, but you're cool. So I want to talk to you, tell you about how my day is and shit like that. So I've only ever done a couple hookups. But I need and let's just clear the air about this. I hate when women act as if it's a jab or as if it's a blanket statement to say you have mommy issues. Because I do. But that doesn't mean that I hate all women in XYZ. That means that if I get a woman close to me, I don't need you to be my mommy, but you should understand as my partner the things that I never got. And so the way that you can love me is by giving me those things. And so it's not that I need you to be my mother. It's that there are things missing inside of me that you provide for me, and vice versa. I would do the same for you. Whatever you didn't get enough of, like usually it's reassurance for women. I will give that to you. I'm not going to say, oh, well, you have like, what is it? What do women give? You have anorexia issues. I wouldn't do that just because you want me to tell you that you aren't gaining weight. I would just give that to you because I know that you need that because you didn't get enough of it when you were growing up.
Feels like you're talking to her through me right now.
I'm talking to so many people about it because it just blows my mind. And there was this woman who I was like hooking up with for a while, and she proposed it to me. She was just like, you got mommy issues. And I was just like, okay, but now I was like, but let's actually dissect that. And then we just sat there and we just went around what that meant. And so because my anger, like I get so angry, but only with my partners. It's either my mother or my partners. And so then I realized in the same vein of like, I need the love that she never gave me. On the flip coin of that, but now when we argue, it's like I'm arguing with my mom. And so it's like all the love that you were giving me is now stripped away. And the only way I know how to like get that back or feel okay about it is to like scream and yell and fight for it. And so I see the toxicity in that, but I just hate the mommy issues. Moving on, like it's like no, there is so
dismissive.
Much. Yeah, there's so much there. Like how can I be so compassionate and caring and loving with you, but then when I feel slighted, just be like, why am I so hurt? Have you ever wondered that? Why am I so damaged because you did something to me that I explicitly asked you not to do? What was the question?
Okay, so you guys were together 2018 roughly, and then you were around each other, and then when did you break up?
So the commitment whole thing made it a little bit weird. In the first 6 months of us being together, I did some things that I told her were possible. I didn't fuck anybody, but like I would go out and entertain other things. I'm not a pursuer of pussy. We know a lot of people that are pursuers of, they can't leave the fucking house and come back unless it's with a woman. That's not me. That's not you.
It's me. It's real bad. I'll tell you about me. It's really bad.
I have not seen that from you, and that's why I respect you more as a man and as a comic.
I'll tell you my issues after. I'll hear your, and I'll tell you my women shit because it's bad. It's really bad.
Okay. And so that's not me. Like, I don't give a fuck. And I've kind of had to have like this like egomaniacal way about me. That way I could center myself on my hierarchy of needs. And so it has to be like, oh, I'm the prize. I'm the cool thing. Like I'm a funny comic. I'm a hard work. I'm a this. There's this thing that I've been saying around my friends. They go like, because I hate dating. They go like, Karen, why don't you go on dates? I'm like, because in 5 years, I'm not gonna be talking about how I went on a date with her. She's gonna be talking about how she went on a date with me. So it's that type of thing that I have to like develop to just stay focused. And so this woman, if we're together, I am your biggest simp. When we are together, you are a goddess. And she knew that I had, because I was never not in a relationship. And so she knew that I had these things that I had to get out because I was honest. That's another thing. I will tell the fucking truth. I don't know if you can tell. I just came in here fucking telling the truth. View me, and people are up to interpret however. Fucking nigga, do it. I don't know. This is just me. I don't know what you want me. I can't lie for the appeasement of others. So I tell her everything that is possible. It happens in the first 6 months. She finds out a year later, as in I told her a year later, because I made a joke with my friends. She asked about it, and I was like, well, fuck it, I'll tell you. So in that sense, I did hide it from her. But in my defense, not in my defense, but from my perspective, it didn't matter. And it was apparent that it didn't matter because you never got no red flags from me. No one was in my phone. I wasn't hiding nothing. A moment arose. I did what I wanted to do in the moment. I don't even know some of these bitches' names. It was just like, oh, you're here. You're attractive. Cool. I thought we were working through it. Come to, I hate that I still care so much. So then, look at me. Look at this. I'm closing myself off. I'm getting nervous. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you really study that interpersonal shit in college.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, let's open myself back up. Okay, so it's all right. We're good.
You don't have to talk about it.
No. Okay. I do.
Okay.
And so then fast forward.
Before you keep going, I want to say my podcast is really good because it's a lot of this shit.
Yeah.
And people don't listen, and it upsets me.
I know. But then one day they will, and they wish they would have sooner.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. Keep going.
You're fine.
You're open up again.
Okay. I'm open.
Okay.
So, and I'm talking about we have been through everything, dude. We have been through everything together. Still I want to marry her. Even with everything going on, I still want to, like, that is, like, she's mine. Like, I want, she's mine. But, you know, and so she did, in my mind, she got me back. And it's not in my mind, but I just say that for the sake of saying it, because when I confronted her about it, so she did some shit, 3 years into us dating.
This is after you did a thing?
Yeah, I did the thing 6 months in.
And she was unaware of, you did a thing, she realized it, you were keep going, and you assume that the relationship is okay. 3 years later, she does a thing.
Yes.
Okay.
2 years later.
2 years
Because
later.
we took the she took the break, she went away, and then I was like, yo, look, I want to, like, let's rekindle whatever. So I was like, okay, we're working on it. I see things now that she has a valid point, and things that I did that didn't aid in her getting better.
Okay.
But me making you worse is inaccurate.
Okay.
Because you can talk about how I never gave you the title, which I told her in the beginning. I think you care a lot about this title, and I can't offer you that. She's like, no, I don't care. Yeah, but all of her friends and her mom is, like, yelling about this title. And I'm like, well, instead of yelling about this title, let's yell about who has a toothbrush at my home and who sips at my home every night and who I take out on dates. And
it's not the words you say, it's the actions. And the actions were showing that the title is essentially there without saying it.
Yes.
Okay.
And she said, well, okay, Kieron, well, use and I get her side on this. She was like, well, she likes to say you said that you were single all the time, and that's not accurate. And I don't know why that's so ingrained in her brain. People would ask me, and I would say it's complicated, which is not the best thing. So, like I say, it doesn't aid in us. But outside of the 6 months, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I didn't know that. And you would go to Ross and Andy's and wouldn't tell me that you were going to Ross and Andy's. How did I know you weren't going with a bitch? And I was just like, because what? Like I wasn't. And this you trying to get me to believe that you care more about my words than my actions is really hard for me. That's really hard for me. Because when you came back to the city and you had nowhere to stay for a month, who let you in their home for a month?
I'm going to just call this woman Chelsea. Can we say
That's fine.
Okay.
And so it's just like, can we do a shorter name?
Sure. Tammy.
So I go like Tammy. I go like, whose home? I'm running around with bitches and you're in my home.
Right.
My phone, you have access to my phone. My password is literally your I had a password on my phone since I got an iPod when I was young. I never changed it for no bitches, no nothing. I changed my password to her password just for the sake of if anything happens and I need you to get into my shit. Yeah, you got your face, but just if anything, your mama loves me, nigga. I was planning on taking trip. What are you talking about?
Is she gonna listen? Is Tammy gonna listen to this? She might.
She only seems to find a way to listen to podcasts that are bad.
Oh, okay. So she's not gonna listen to this.
Who knows?
Tammy, if you listen, I like your dude here. Okay.
And yeah, and so should you, Tammy. And so I find her out, and that's the thing. I sniffed her out, and she tried to use the same logic of like, well, technically we weren't together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go, Tammy, sure. But before you left, you asked me about this. You said, are we together? Are we whatever? I said, and I said to her, if you want to be really good friends, we can be really good friends. I was like, but all I ask is that you don't do 1 through 7.
Okay.
If you want, and don't deny this, we can be really good friends. But I'm asking you to not do 1 through 7. She did not do 1 through 3. She did not do 5 and 6. She did 1 through 7.
All the things you did not want her to do.
1 through 7. To a T. And what hurts me is that no one has ever took the time to know me like she did. And so, of course, and then when I called her out on it, the first thing she said, which is why it's not in my mind, if you look at the way that you fucking communicate with somebody, you displayed yourself pretty clearly. I say, ooh, almost said her name. I said, Tammy. I said, Tammy, you did this and this and this. And then she goes, what about the shit that you did, Kieron? And so then I looked at her and I said, you know what you just did? Prove that it was spite. You had so much area and room for this to just be an action that you decided to do. But your first line of self-defense was pointing out something that I did. You proved that it was spite.
Yeah, I see that arguing thing you grew up with.
Yep.
You're a great lawyer.
I'm not gonna lie. I baited her there.
Yeah.
Because I was doing the but if spite really wasn't in her heart, she wouldn't have said it. She would have never said it. She could say, Kieron, I was hurt. Kieron, I was yada yada. But she said, Kieron, what about the shit that you did? And I remember I was just like, thank you. That's spite. And so not only did you do 1 through 7, but you spited someone that you said that you loved. And what hurts me is that you know me more than anybody. And so that means that you equally knew how badly I would be destroyed by this. And so it was less of, oh, let me just get you back. And it's let me break this man. And it is, and I've had a lot of women try to break me. I have. And I have tried to break a lot of women. I'm not perfect in this at all by any means. When 18 and younger, I was a piece of shit. Okay, wait, actually 17 and younger, I was a piece of shit. I'll be honest. And so she doesn't live here.
Tammy?
Yes.
Okay.
She lives in Kansas.
Okay. Okay.
But there's been some legal trouble with me and Tammy. So she lives in Kansas.
Okay.
Okay? Because I did a podcast, me, Ty Riggs, and Christian Royce.
Oh yeah.
We do and the point of our podcast, it's called Live from the DMs. The point of our podcast is to make fun of those manosphere podcasts where it's just men going like, women did it. Like we're being hyperbolic in the sense of those podcasts to make fun of that podcast.
Right.
And so I go
satire.
Yes. And so I go on there in January. So everything got found out 2 weeks before my birthday. So it was the end of September.
I think holidays aren't good for you.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Summer's horrible for me. Holidays are horrible for me. It's all bad.
Every day is pretty horrible.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And so I figured out the end of September. I tell her, you know what really sucks? I hate you, but I don't hate you enough to not want to be with you. But the thing that pains me is that if we're going to be good, you just have to do what you quote unquote, should have been doing from the beginning. And I have to be the one that works triple time. Because whenever I'm with you, I have to not bring this shit up, even though it's on my mind. I have to like try to not think about it. I have to, every time that you step out, and I understand that this may be like a similar way that you were feeling when you mentioned all the shit that I did at the beginning 6 months of our fucking relationship. But nigga, can you cut me a fucking break? And can we be real for a fucking second? I never spited you. I don't know any of these bitches' names. I never had these niggas. I never had these bitches in my phone when we're on dates and I'm texting. I never did any of that to you. You can't say the same to me. And I don't care how in tune with your emotions you are in. Those are not the same thing. You were never spited. I was never dragging nobody along. When it was me and you, it was me and fucking you. When I was out there in the unit, ask Micah and Malik, ask my best friends that have not slept with any of my exes yet. They have told me, I'm kidding, guys. They have told me that they knew that I was really in love with this woman because I had a 3, 6, and 9 month rule. By 3 months in, we enter, and this is just relational shit though. This is just like statistically how relationships go. 3 to 6 months in, you enter your first actual set of turbulence. It's called the relationship turbulence model. And so when you're what?
Now you're just being extra smart.
And so when you're 6 months in, the novelty stage wears off around 4 months. Then real problems start to arise around 6 months in. And there are only 2 ways for a relationship to go if you hit this turbulence. You either figure out ways to make it work where you set a lot of boundaries, because the reason you hit the turbulence in the first place is because since shit was so good, everything is based off expectations. Everything. And so the expectation gets broken. And that's what the turbulence is. But that's because when you're novel and shit, you're like, oh, no, do whatever you want. Oh, I don't care if you wear that out. Oh, I don't care if you talk to him. Oh, that's your ex. Oh, I don't care if you guys, co-parent a dog. We do all that shit because we're being novel. But then when that fades away, we still don't set the expectation, which sounds harsh to people. So now we have to say set boundaries, which is fucking stupid. It's expectations. And so you either work through it, set expectations, or the relationship ends. And I have a phenomenal history of 8-month relationships to a year. Because 3 months in, turbulence hits. 6 months in, nothing changes. 9 months, it ends or I drag it out for some reason. I'm kind of bad at leaving shit. And so my friends told me, Kieron, you've been together for 9 months and you have never, ever said a bad word. You have never called her anything other than your wife whenever you talk about her to us. And now that doesn't mean that I'm not out and I'm going because I remember I would do this with them. I'd be like, oh, that bitch bad over there. I'm like, not as bad as my wife though. Like I would do that. And I can't shut off the male part of my brain, but you know how highly I placed you. I'm getting caught up in the weeds. So
should I talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk.
I'm just running around.
You're good. It's so funny. You when you get angry. The reason I was making the face I was making, I'm sure you're picking up on something with my body language. It's because you know how old I am?
25.
I'm 31.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I did not know that.
I'm 31, and it's so funny because when you're calm, you feel like a 30-year-old, but when you're angry, you feel like a 22-year-old.
Oh yeah.
It's really
okay.
When you start talking calm, I'm like, oh God, I'm talking to a grown ass. I'm talking to a 57. You should have a pipe. You shouldn't even have those. You should have a regular cigarette.
A pipe, yeah.
But when you get angry, I can feel that youth, which isn't a bad thing.
For sure.
It's just. I hope this. It always sounds condescending when I talk about age.
I like you. You won't. It's fine.
Right. Well, I really enjoy talking to people in their early 20s when they're being their most 20-something-year-old because it's a weird thing of reminiscing. There's a weird I kind of know that not to say I don't get petty and shit now, but I remember this similar types of situations, and it's just very interesting. You have so much maturity and life experience that not only will you get past all of this, but you're gonna grow far faster than I personally think I did. And I look forward. I hope that our friendship continues. And I look forward to seeing it. And I'll tell you a little bit about my fuck shit to balance this out.
Let's go.
Because you didn't expect me to be a little. What is your perception of me before I say all this stuff?
For sure. So I like to think I have a good read of character.
Okay.
And so, regardless of whatever you tell me, I know you have good character.
Okay.
I wouldn't sign up. I mean, and this is not okay.
Ooh, I'm excited.
You are, because there's a level of horny that's in the scene, and just with men in general that I don't relate to. And then there's also just being a man.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking that you're judging yourself too critically, and you're just a man, because I know what horniness in men looks like, and you don't have. I promise you, you don't have that.
Well, thank you.
Because there are a lot of women that talk to you and will casually have a conversation with you. And if you watch really closely, there's a lot of women that won't casually talk to other people because they know the entire conversation is just a chess game for him to get in their pussy.
That's fair.
And so you may be like, oh, shit, let's chat it up. And if something pops off, it pops off. Man. Yeah. But when it's, I'm coming here. Let's see who looks good when I'm on stage. Let me make sure when I do the punchline, I look at her. And then they're like, and no one's going to know because this is all the social. Nigga, I know. And I'm watching, and it's horrible. It's horrible. And so I don't see you doing that.
In my 20s, I would have done that.
Okay.
So in my 30s, you're right, especially talking to comics.
Right.
Especially female comedians, I do my goddamnedest to make them as comfortable as I possibly can.
Good move.
Yeah, part of that is my own self-preservation, and part of that is getting older and learning from mistakes and a sense of remorse. Like, I'm very jealous. I'm gonna be an old man real quick. How old were you during the Me Too movement?
What year was the Me Too movement?
I want to say 2016, 17.
16, 17.
So you're about 16, 17. Okay. Oh, my God. That's so crazy. Like, 16, 17, I'd have been going into my late 20s where I already fucked up.
Right.
And now I've never raped anybody or anything, but those lines, those very blurry lines that got exposed to me, it was horrifying for me. It was like, again, on a self-preservation level, it was like, oh my God, who knows what someone could accuse me of that I maybe not even remember. Yep. And then on the other side, on a just an empathetic level, I remember specifically there was this one girl that I knew, a friend of mine. We were together for a while, long story. But during that time, she told me, she said, yeah, you did something that made me uncomfortable. And she told me about it. And I didn't even remember. Right. Because in my head and the way we've been raised as young men, it's like, well, no, that's just what you do. Right. I'm being a man, Fred Flintstone. Yeah. And so I've been trying very, 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 very hard to kind of rectify that in my behavior. Okay. But as of very recent, I've also had a thing that is of recent. I really don't like myself right now because of some decisions I made recently. Again, no, I have not raped anybody. Right. I feel it's so sad that I have to keep emphasizing that, but no, I've not raped anybody. But for me, it's this endless chase of wanting to be the entertaining person to women. Okay. Like, growing up, I didn't have the arts. People ripped it away from me, specifically my mom. I have mom issues. And so all of that desire to entertain, if I couldn't do it on stage, I'm going to do it for girls. That there's a very clear goal that can be achieved. If I go on stage, my goal is to get laughs. Yeah. If I'm talking to girls, my goal is to get pussy. Yeah. At least there's a goal I can achieve with the skills that I'm working on. Right. And which is terrible. That's not a good way to approach humans. Like that's really fucked up. But I did it for so long that it's kind of my default. And so in moving from where I came from, moving out here, it's easier now for me to see what was my environment that was fucking me up and what is me. And as of recent, I learned a thing that was me that I really hate about myself. And I hurt a very close friend, somebody that I care so much about. Is making me sad right now. I'm sure you can tell. Yeah. But I hurt this person that I just shouldn't have. It fucking bothers me. And it was because of a lack of transparency that was stupid and frivolous and It was just dumb. Just like dumb. And when they said, well, what were you thinking? It's like, I wasn't. And I know that's not an answer that's never a good enough answer for somebody. But legitimately, like, I just go into, it's autopilot. It's why I've been trained for the past over a decade.
What?
Go ahead, go ask I'll tell you if I won't say it or not.
Yeah. Well, I'm just curious. Like, I can't accept I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
It's what was the forefront? Because you can be thinking, okay, back to the basics, let's hit it, but that's still a thought. Like,
yeah.
What was the forefront of your mind?
It's gonna be hard to describe. Maybe this will connect. You got a evil eye on you. Maybe you'll get your spirituality
From
together.
Tammy.
From Tammy?
Still haven't taken it off.
Oh, that's beautiful and sad.
Yep.
What was I thinking? Okay. You probably know the phrase disassociate.
Yes.
Okay. I've realized that up until quarantine, I was not there. I was disassociated for years.
Okay.
And when that happens, it feels like when I get stressed, when I get overwhelmed, when I get lonely, I'm not here anymore.
Right.
I think that's a part of the memory thing. There's times, even when there's times when you are talking, where I go in and out because I have to meditate and I have to practice being here.
Sure.
So I think what was happening was this move was going on, the moving to here where we are now. I was going to be unemployed, or I was unemployed pretty much because I was a substitute teacher. Summer hit. I was already hemorrhaging money because I was a fucking substitute teacher.
Right.
Still hemorrhaging money, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Everything was going on, and it was awful, and I couldn't do stand up, and it was just terrible.
Yeah.
And my thought process, I was just like, I don't know. That's the thing, man. I cannot put it into words, and that also fucking frustrates me. I know that I wasn't thinking is not an answer, but I don't know how to describe what it's like in my head when I'm not there and I'm just being Aaron, I guess. And it's fucking disgusting. I really don't like this about myself. And it's so funny. Like you have such a romantic heart. I can feel like the fact that you wifey, all that cute shit. I'm not that dude. I'm the opposite of that dude. I was talking to Christian yesterday. This is the picture with Christian. And he was talking about how, like, you know, he had a friend who's Mr. Attractive who gets all the girls, and was lamenting about how he's tired of frivolous sex. And he was like, nigga, I don't get that. Because I'm Christian Royce and I'm ugly is what he was.
Yeah.
Basically.
Sounds like Christian.
And I was like,
you're hot, Christian.
His episode will come out soon.
Yeah.
But I understood his friend, and I didn't want to say that to him because I felt like it was unnecessary. But I understood his friend. I understood the, like, no, I don't want to be that fucking guy. Who it's cool in your 20s. It's not, as you get older, it becomes less and less cool to be, I'm the guy who can get bitches. It's like, cool, good for you.
Where's your family at, nigga?
Yeah. Where are you alone? Are you sad? And I don't know if I told you this, but I believe it to be polyamorous.
Okay.
My ideal relationship would be like a triad or a quad, where it's me and like 2 other women or 3 other women.
That's the California in you.
Is that me? Is that California? Is that commune mentality?
Yeah.
That sincerely is what I think my ideal relationship is, and that's so hard to describe to people because I don't mean that in a douchey way.
Right.
I don't mean that in like I just need all the pussy. I mean like that's always sounded like it made sense to me.
Why?
I think it's the unhealthy part. I'll tell you the unhealthy part, and then I'll tell you what I think is the healthier part.
Okay.
The unhealthier part is not getting enough love and support and everything. And so it's like multiple people to love me.
There you go. All right. We're right on.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the unhealthy part.
Yep.
And then the regular part in my brain is like, well, I like community.
Yeah.
I want you to be my friend. I want Ty to be my friend. I want Christian to be my friend. Yep. And then the idea of a relationship where all these people are in we're working together.
Yeah.
There's something that clicks with me. If I was bisexual, a dude could jump in. I give a fuck, but I'm not attracted to men.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a women thing.
I knew you were going to say both of those.
What's up?
I knew you were going to say both of those.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you mentioned community early.
Yeah.
And you were stuck inside your home.
Yeah.
And so you may have hated the way that it was, but then if you get to be, and I don't mean this in a certain way, but if you get to be like the head of the home, then that's just community around you that's catered phenomenally. And so that's the healthy part. And then if the unhealthy part is just like, well, nigga, I need love.
Yeah.
And I've tried to get love from one people and I still feel nothing.
I should love myself.
But maybe if I get 3 people to love me, if these 3 people love me, then damn, I'm really lovable. I get you. I get you.
And it's moving was so fucking eye-opening, and like I'm still trying to figure myself out. I'm still finding these little crevices of things that I didn't know about that I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm finding things where I'm like, God damn, good for me. And then as of recent, I found things where I'm like, I need this to stop.
Yeah.
Like the flag thing. You know that one? That
That's
flag?
trans. Or are you talking about the pan?
No,
Pan-African
the
flag?
the African American flag. No,
Yeah.
that's the trans flag
Yeah.
right there. Yeah. Like I found out like, oh, I'm attracted to trans women.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, well now I have this other thing to juggle where I need to make sure this is not fetishization.
Right.
I need to approach. I need to learn and fucking.
Right.
It's exhausting.
Right.
It's exhausting. And so for me, community, I didn't have. Let me rephrase this. I had community in Riverside where I was from.
Right.
But over time, I realized like maybe it was the community, maybe it was the environment, maybe it was a mixture of both. Probably a mixture of both. It wasn't healthy for me.
Okay.
And so now I'm out here trying to build a healthy community. I think that's why, and I'm afraid of coming off as needy. I'm afraid of like trying to message you and trying to be friends or whatever, and then scaring you away, and it being like, I know, but you know, and it being like, well, I moved thousands of miles away, and now I'm fucking up community here.
Yeah.
And I think something just clicked. That's the other thing I'm upset at. I'm the person that I have hurt was a part of a solid part of my Chicago community that I've only had for a year, and I already fucked that up.
Do you genuinely think it's done for good?
I think if I don't get it together, then I should make it done for good. I should not put myself back in this person's life.
Phenomenal answer.
Yeah, thanks.
That was a really good answer.
Yeah.
That shows that you're making progress already. Don't beat yourself. You're making progress.
Yeah.
You know how many people couldn't say that?
How many?
Nigga, like probably like 7 out of 10 wouldn't be able to say that.
Yeah.
And you're taking full accountability, and it hurts you. That's important.
It's fucking terrible.
That's important.
I kind of miss being 20 and being like, yeah, it's not my fault. I miss that. I miss the shell.
I never got it. I never got everything was my fault. I'd just be like, well, take it to the chin.
Yeah. What time is it? We're going a little over. I generally make it about an hour because people don't.
All good.
Whatever. But I don't know. I guess we'll talk about the things. That was a kid. Okay. I guess we'll talk about the things that I wrote down off the air, and it was good talking to you. And we'll yada 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 yada.
For sure.
Yada, yada.
Phenomenal talking to you.